He led me to the rock. My world went upside down. I could not find anything solid under me. I lost grip on my focus, my purpose. How do you understand and make a way through this? Broken, I cried out, and I felt I went in such a spin. I must go forward. I have others relying on me. I must hit on something solid. I felt I was reaching out in the dark through a void. 9 months prior, I had received wonderful news. I was with child. This would be number 4. The excitement was felt through the whole house, the eldest being 7, then the next 4, followed by the current baby, 1.5. All beautiful girls. After a couple months, we would find out the gender of this special one on the way, if we wished to do so. The appointment was set. I went in for the visit. The excitement of the heartbeat, the view of seeing this new life move inside, growing arms and legs, fingers and toes, even bringing the thumb up to the mouth to suck as it played inside. This was the first of many times to visit this little one on film, but this day was the most impressionable. On this day, she looked at me and said, "You have yourself a boy." I was thrilled beyond belief, and the 3 girls who were there at the visit with me were overjoyed. A brother. We shared this wonderful news with everyone. We began preparing as you do with a new one coming, buying blue, the clothes, the room decor, and many other sweet things for his arrival. The decision was made on his name, Adam Lee. This was after his great-grandfather's, and with pride, we would now pass it on to him. The months came and went, the end of winter, the brightness of spring, and now summer coming to an end, and with that brings our baby boy. School starts back up for the oldest child, and the younger 2 still at home. On this day, it began as any other. Up early, breakfast, then to school to drop off big sis, back home and regular morning routine. A little after lunch, I began feeling what I would describe as just blah. Uncomfortable, not really hurting. On that day, my dad stopped by for a visit. While he was there, I called the doctor to ask about the headache and some pressure in my ears. I had just been for a visit the day prior and everything was great. So I was told to take some meds and rest. Maybe I was just trying to get a cold. As my dad gets ready to leave, he says, "How about I take the girls with me and I will pick up their sister so you can rest?" I agreed because nothing made my girls happier than spending time with their papa. I rested on the couch, reading off and on for a few hours. Then around 5:30, I started having contractions. I called for my husband, who had just been home for a while from work. "It's time." I went on into the bathroom to freshen up and change my clothes. As I am standing there, my water breaks. Since the younger girl came in just 45 minutes, and I am now 30 minutes from the hospital, we hurried up, got our hospital bag, and ran out the door as fast as we could. After traveling about 10 minutes, the pain is becoming stronger and the contractions are getting closer. But yet, they are so different than the 3 prior times. We decided to call an ambulance to meet up with us so we could get there sooner. After meeting with them, my pain really started to increase. I didn't think he would wait until the hospital to arrive. The contractions were not letting up at all. This was different than they were. They were just staying in a hard contraction. Something was not right. And now I am beginning to lose quite a bit of blood. As we arrived there at the hospital, they quickly rushed me to labor and delivery. After getting into the room, many nurses and the doctor come in to assist me. The doctor says they need to get me to the OR stat because I am hemorrhaging. They began preparing me. Everyone was in a frantic rush. Yet to me, it seemed as if everything was in slow motion. I remember there were two men trying to get my IV ready for surgery. The one on my right said, "This IV just blew." And then the one to my left said, "Same here. I'm going to try one more, and if this blows, I'm going to the neck." I recall praying that the next one would not blow. Then I remember fear coming on me. Before that, yes, it all seemed crazy, but no two deliveries are the same, and bleeding was part of the process as well as pain. But now worry, is my baby okay? I began praying hard in my mind. No words came out. I just kept my eyes closed as the events unfolded. The man on my left said, "This one is good." And with that, they began wheeling me back to the OR. I can vaguely remember the cold, sterile room. I just kept my eyes closed and prayed until I drifted off. When I awoke, I was back in my room. I began asking, "Is Adam okay? How is Adam?" My eyes still not open. After asking this out a few times with some family in the room with me, I finally get the response. "Tarina, honey, I'm so sorry. Adam didn't make it." As no words came out, just a mourning wail that came from my very soul and was heard out of the room into the hall where more families stood, to the nurses' station, as they all began to cry with me and for me. My whole being broke out in grief, the life within me released. With my family standing around, I gave one more cry, and with that, I was gone. My family started calling out my name, "Tarina, Tarina." Nurses came rushing in, guiding my family out of the room. I remember myself saying, "Answer them, say something." As the nurses came in to work on me to try and get me back, I could still hear them from above. As I kept going higher, one nurse began pounding on my chest to get my heart to help start my heart until they could get the shock card in. At this time, I was at peace as I continued to ascend. I was not mourning as I escaped my mortal grieving and broken body, with my family crying out to God, along with friends and nurses, "God, please don't take her." As I was giving way to a sweet release, I feel God say, "Not yet." Then like a flash, I was back in my room. I don't remember anything more about that evening's events because as soon as I returned, I fell into a deep sleep for many hours. In the early hours of the following morning, I woke up. After talking to family and the nurses, asking so many questions, I hear them ask me, "Would you like to see and hold your son?" The reality of this is so hard to accept and comprehend. I look at them and answer with, "Yes, please." They return with a beautiful bundle in their arms, wrapped in baby blue blankets. She leans down, I stretch my arms out, and she places this beautiful boy now into my arms. As I laid weak in the bed, I looked down at him. Tears drop onto his blanket. He is perfect. A chubby round face and cheeks, coal black hair, 10 fingers, 10 toes, big full lips, tiny little ears. He felt so perfect in my arms. And with that newborn sweet baby smell that you just can't bottle up. I brought him up close to me as I prayed for a miracle to take place right here in my arms. How could he look so perfect and be gone? No breath, no life? You don't understand. This boy is perfect. I just need to wake up from this nightmare. I squeeze him up against me tight, cheek to cheek. I close my eyes and I pray, breathe, just breathe. God, please, just this one miracle. But nothing. As I held him, I wept. I wept for all we would not enjoy with him. The holidays and family functions, just day-to-day life he would be missing from. The loss the girls would feel from this as well. The plans they had with him, the joy of having this little brother. I held on to him as long as I could up against me until the moment came for them to take him. I was not ready to let him go. The longer I had him with me, I did not have to really accept that he was truly gone. I watched them carefully take him in their arms, allowing me to kiss his cheeks once more. The loss your body feels, the emptiness in your arms, is an ache that goes so deep. As I laid there in the silence, I started to feel numb. My health was so bad. At the time, my blood pressure was going dangerously high, then dropping low. The shock to my body was so traumatic. During the labor before the birth, my placenta had tore away from the wall of my uterus. This was the reason for the pain I felt as I was on my way to the hospital. I had had a complete placenta abruption brought on suddenly from preeclampsia. No warning signs, a great doctor visit the day prior to this loss. Everything looked good, yet in what seemed to be just a moment, all my world changed. With this loss, I will never be the same. As I cried out to God for weeks, I knew my help was there, but how? How do you get back there? I was so broken now, so dry, weak. I was scared. I felt unsure, unstable. I dreaded the night. The darkness felt like a heavy weight on my chest. I would surely not make it through this. With more hurt, pain, and questions with no answers, truly at the end of my rope, God speaks to me. Through King David. Nothing new. It's an old yet tried message that goes through time, through centuries, then finds itself with me as I cried on the couch alone in the dark in the middle of the night. I sit up and I turn on my light. I reach for my Bible and I open it up just to read in Psalms. I don't know why, nor did I plan to, but I open on this very passage. As I read these living words, I feel it refresh me. It lightens my heart. I take a deep breath. I am reminded I am not doing this alone. I am not crying out to a void in space. I have a refuge. I have a shelter. Psalm 61, 2-4, from the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. For thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy. I will abide in thy tabernacle forever, and I will trust in the covert of thy wings. Selah. Did the hurt and pain stop that moment? No. Did I still cry and mourn this loss? Yes. But did I gain strength and hope? Oh, yes. Did my burden get lighter? Again, yes. God did not leave me to walk and carry this alone. He was always there. I just needed to fall on the rock, cling tight to this rock. I am not a super strong woman to endure all things, nor pretend to have it all together. I have more failures and mistakes than I would ever care to mention. But when I am reminded where my hope is, where my strength is, that is when I can go on through painful loss, through troubles, through heartbreak, through life. Why does God lead us to a rock? While I stopped and I read those verses, I recalled how the day of Adam's funeral, sitting there in the church on the front row, to my right, no one was sitting. I looked up there to the altar. My boy laid there in a coffin. I say to myself, I can't bear this. I can't do this. Just then, I felt the pressure of someone sit down. They sat down so close beside me. They placed their arm around me and pulled me in close to their side. I feel the arm, the weight of it on my shoulder. I look over and see there was no one there, but the presence was so close to me. God had his arm around me. This was my strength. the faithfulness, the reliability. This is my rock. When I laid there broken and dry, water came from this rock, living water that quenched the very thirst of my soul. It ran down from this rock to give life to me. When hard times come in this life and things become so uncertain, they are temporary. I have found that this rock can be trusted. Our rock is not as others. It is not shallow as others. It is reliable. It's been tried. As the Bible says to us, our rock is not like their rock, for our rock can't be shaken. Our rock can be built on. This rock is our foundation. When the cares of life, heartbreak, uncertainties, and problems arise, our rock will hold us. We can anchor to this rock to get us through the different things that come our way. Our rock is a fortress to hide in, away from the enemy. The peace in this rock, the love and acceptance you feel in this rock, you can draw strength while in its protection. He leads us to the rock for our sake, because of love for us. He encourages us to come to him, draw from him. He does not lead us there to be on something unsure or temporary, but rather the rock, something unmovable and consistent. This life is not our final place. It will soon pass us, and we will say goodbye here below. My hope is in this rock. For the rock of my salvation, I hear him say to me, fall on me. Trust in me. Learn of me. I hear this beyond this world, beyond the grave. It calls on to all of us, no matter the situation, no matter the individual. The rock cries out to you, come to me, I have what you need, for God himself is this rock. He is the rock that is higher than us. When our heart is overwhelmed, when life is too much, lead me to peace, loving arms, a place to fall and feel secure, a place that I am wanted. There is nothing in this world that can give you this, truly nothing. This is why he leads us to him, to the rock.